From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
I didn't notice that I saw that I was on mute, and I put myself on. Pretty much, this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. So I had to go ahead and reassure that. But let's go ahead and jump into the Thursday night preview. And there's not much here because most of the Titans are out today, but that means absolutely nothing. It's a 13-point spread, a 40.5-point over and under as well. Means absolutely nothing in the NFL because these guys do come to play in the NFL. So Cowboys notes are looking like this against the spread. They're 9-6 this season. Also, when it comes down to being on the road against the spread and straight up, they're 3-3. As a favorite this year, they're 2-2 versus the spread. Now, when it comes down to being a favorite, FC. Now, over and under, they've had 15 games this year. They've won against the spread and straight up at home. They're 3-4 against the spread as an underdog. They're versus the NFC this year. So, this team comes in here against the spread as a dog, but pretty much you win one. It's a little more dangerous than it feels as well too. I know struggling games. We saw what happened with the Texans, and in 15 games, the Titans have won. Like I said before, we already have our bets set up for tonight and Thursday in the third. I tell myself that we should be able to do some this TNF tonight is going to be one that is going to really show exactly what we should think about these Cowboys tonight. If they go out here and dominate these Titans, I know that a lot of people will be like, well, it was just the Titans and they weren't playing for anything. But I would think that a team would want to start getting themselves back into the race, if anything, because if they do win this game, pretty much they're 8-8 and they don't have to worry about, hoping and wishing, things can fall into place and stuff like that. So, it's going to be a good game tonight, and I do think that it's not going to play up to where everybody's predicting it. Once everybody says that this game is no shot, that's when you got to hesitate a little bit. They said that about the Rams a few weeks back as well too. They wound up beating the Raiders. So, you can't take that to the bank. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna still stay on my horse because that's where I was at for this game. I'm not gonna act like I didn't take the Titans the other day. But I know it's risque business, but I've been in this spot before and I've prevailed. So, right now, the spread has moved up to 14. So that just means that they're annihilating the Cowboys because everybody feels like this is a gimme spot. And I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work that way tonight. I'm telling you, it just does not. It does not look like it's going to work out that way. Even though you want it to work out that way, I just really feel like it's not going to go that way. And they had the same situation for the Titans before this season, and you saw what happened there. It was against Kansas City, so you know. But we'll keep it real. They were a little bit different at that time as well, too. They were much better. So, but we're gonna have some fun with the Titans tonight because since they got plus money, first quarter, all that good stuff, we can have some fun with them tonight. I know a lot of people probably gonna be pop is tripping, but I've really put. It's funny when you feel like I'm tripping. It's really I'm right on the money about where we're going with this one. So that's how we go ahead and we do the do here and pretty Cheez-It Bowl, and the Cheez-It Bowl is actually about to start in the next 5 minutes. So I Cheez-It Bowl, man, it's hilarious. All right, so here we are, Cheez-It Bowl. Cheez-It Bowl is a game that's in Orlando. It used to be in Miami. This is the original name of it was the Blockbuster Bowl. It was a bowl for about 4 years. I remember the Blockbuster Bowl as well too. Blockbuster is no longer with us as a company. They got one left, but man, Blockbuster. They were a power player in the world. So let's go ahead. Now it's called the Cheez-It Bowl after being called the Camping World Bowl. They didn't keep that name too long. So here we are. We have the Oklahoma coming in here 4-8 against the spread. They've only been a dog when it comes down to the non-conference against the spread. Straight up, they're 3-6 of their 12 games, but they did have a push as well too. Florida State and they come back around and they're trying to get some good they're 2-2 against the spread versus non-conference this year as well. And when it comes down to the over and under, they went over 6 times, they went under 6 times. Actually, Oklahoma has the advantage 6-1. So, that's a little surprise. Let you guys know, I love FSU in the spot, but I know this is going to be a tough game for them to cover because Oklahoma, even though they're not having the greatest season, they tend to show up in bowl games, and I think they will show up in this one today if everybody hasn't partied too hard in Florida. And the over-under is what I like a lot here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to already break out this game early because I'm going to already tweet this out in a moment. So this is going to be under 65.5. And then the 6.5 Florida State first half, the +3 Oklahoma first quarter. And then I have Oklahoma going under 27.27.5 today. So that's how I see it. That's how I feel. And I think that we're on to something here, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's our Cheez-It Bowl bets. And man, you guys and I know it's fun because everybody gets as much Cheez-Its as they want to. I heard everybody gets like 10 pounds of that stuff. So, I know that's fun. I was like, I'm kind of jealous, man, because I love some Cheez-Its. So, it is what it is. But there it is. There it is. Let's move forward to the Alamo Bowl. In the Alamo Bowl, we have ourselves pretty good matchup between Texas and Washington, battle of the Big 12 and the Pac 12. And those are always fun when these two get together. Like great game last night as well, too, between North Carolina and Oregon. So I expect this one to play into that as well, too. This is the grand old Alamo Bowl, celebrating its 30th year as well, too. Valero is still the sponsor as well, too. Valero might be one of the longest running sponsors of a bowl in a long time. So, I think that's pretty crazy in its own right. So pretty much because usually these sponsors don't stay on the bowl game this long. So they've been there for a while. Now, when I look at my notes going into this game, this is the best matchup of the night. We all know that. And pretty much from what I can see here, I love Texas in this game because I think that Sarkisian gets himself his revenge moment against his former team, the first team that he was the head coach for. And, he had a lot of success up at Washington, ultimately failed at, but it's all good. He was able to get with Nick. So you have Texas coming in here 8-4 against the spread as a favorite against the spread. And then when it comes down to straight up as a favorite, they're 8 when it comes to the over and under. So that means, you know what it means, 6-1 as well, too. Now, Washington comes in here, number 12. When it comes down to the spread and straight up versus non-conference. And also when it comes down to the over under this year, they've went over in 8 out of their 12 games this year. And the records for them, because I know it's not showing, you have a 10-2 Washington team and you have an 8-4 Texas team, but it still has Texas as the favorite in this game, and rightfully so. They're not too far away from Austin and San Antonio, so they will have majority of the crowd there, and it's going to be a great game. But I do see Texas absolutely prevailing in this spot, even though Washington, they can move into next season and know that, be very confident going into next. All right, so let's jump into the Duke Mayo Bowl. The Duke Mayo Bowl is a very good game. Minnesota has just won the Pinstripe Bowl as well, too. Another loss for me in the bowl chase right now because I had Syracuse in that game. I know I was kind of tripping, but I was fishing. I ain't gonna lie, I was fishing. I was thinking that possibly they could come through and Duke Mayo Bowl, and you want to play against the percentages in those situations. State. This all-time series has seen these teams play each other 70 times. So Maryland comes in here 6-6 again as an underdog this year. Versus non-conference this year, they're 2-1 again. 3-0 straight up. And when it comes down to the 12 games that they were in, so Maryland's coming in there with Tua's little brother, and he to this one today. Now you got NC State, who's 4-8 against the spread, 8 favorite. They're 2-5 against the spread, and versus non-conference, they're 2-2 against. Now, when it comes to the over/under, with one push, they've went under 6. Head and circle Maryland for the win here in this spot. I think Maryland gets the slight upset, and I think it will be a very, very good game. All right, so we move on to somewhat of the home team here, and that's going to be in the Sun Bowl, and that's going to be for UCLA, number 18, 9-3 on the season, going against Pitt, 8-4. UCLA comes in here as an 8-point favorite. The over/under of 54 is in a full effect. UCLA actually owns the all-time series record against Pittsburgh as well too, and it's Pitt as well. They are actually 9-5 all-time against Pitt. Now Pitt comes in here 5-7 against the spread, 8-4 on the season. They're 0-3 when it comes to being an underdog this year. In period, point blank, that's either side, spread or straight up. Versus non-conference against the spread, they're 1-3, but straight up they're 3-1. Now, when it comes down to the over/under in their 12 games, they've went over 8 times. UCLA 6-6 against the spread, 9-3 on the season, 4-4 against the spread as a favorite, 1-2 versus non-conference when it comes to the spread, and then very good record as a favorite this year, 7-1 straight up as a fave. Only loss coming to Arizona, which was kind of the loss that kind of killed a lot of things for UCLA moving forward. You know what I mean? They could have still possibly played in the Pac-12 championship if they would have been able to win that game because they did have the advantage in a spot. I think it was the Utah game where they had the advantage because, you know, Utah beat USC and then UCLA had beat Utah, blah, 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 blah. But UCLA is 3-0 versus non-conference this year. That's very good going into this game. And also when it comes to the over and under, this team has actually went over in 9 out of their 12 games. So pretty much 80% of their games they've went over in. So there it is, UCLA. And I think UCLA absolutely romps Pitt. Pitt was an okay team in the season. They got good wins against bad ACC teams, in my opinion, and a bad West Virginia as well. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I like UCLA with the -8 here. And I got more bets for you guys once we get there. All right, let's get into the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. And I know you guys are like, damn, you previewing a lot of games. But, you know, pretty much that's what we're doing. And you know what? I was supposed to take a break, but, you know, I'm just going to roll it through because we're already moving pretty good. So in a Tax Slayer Gator Bowl is a good one as well, too. Yeah. And then you have, they're number 21, while you have Notre Dame is 6-6 against the spread, and they're 3-1 all time against South Carolina. Also, as a favorite this year, not too good, 2-5 against the spread. Now, most of their games are non-conference because they're independent. They're 5-6 against the spread, and they're 7-4 straight up versus non-conference teams. Now, when it comes, game had a lot of low-scoring games. They still went over 7 times. Spencer Rattler is now reinvigorated because now he has underdog this year. That's tremendous coming into this game. And then there over under, same result. They've went over in 7 of their 12 use for Notre Dame, who actually stepped it up once they point of the season, and they've literally just lost one game since, you know, having a pretty rough start to the season. They had a close loss to Ohio State. Then they wound up losing in South Bend to Marshall of all teams. So they've been able to get it all back together in a sense, in my opinion. Same thing goes for South Carolina, who was having a very ugly season most of at the right time, and they got themselves two very significant wins. So I know that quarterback here, and usually when you had a better quarterback in these games, that but Notre Dame plays a great defensive scheme. Game breakers on the offense as well too. So this game is much closer here, and I'm gonna go with Notre Dame because I think Notre Dame is confident into the rankings as well too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's gonna be the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Gator. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that, right? Oh, Gator. So let's go ahead and get into the Arizona Bowl preview. I don't know if Barstools is still the sponsor of the game. I know that the year that they were going to sponsor and telecast the game, they actually the game got canceled because teams had COVID and they just didn't want to go forward with the game. So I think now we'll be able to get the Arizona Bowl on for the first time in a few years. And here we are. Ohio is 9-4 coming into this game. Wyoming 7-5, and this is always a good game between the MAC and the Mountain West. So we'll see how this one shapes up. But the notes I have here is that Ohio is 2-0 in the all-time series versus Wyoming. Now Wyoming comes into the game 9-4. I mean, Ohio comes into the game 9-4 against the spread, 4-1 against the spread as a favorite. They're 1-3 against the spread versus non-conference. They're 5-0 straight up as a favorite, 2-2 straight up versus non-conference. And when it comes to the over/under in their 13 games, they went over 7 times. Now, Wyoming is a team that is coming in here feeling pretty good about themselves, in my opinion. I think that they played pretty well at the end of the season, even though Ohio has the advantage because they were in they were literally in their championship game and they dominated and they haven't lost a game in a while. So, that's key coming into the game. And I know Ohio is going to be big favorite, all that good stuff. But I still know that this is a tough game for them, regardless of anything. And the only reason why I'm kind of fishing right now is because I have notes on Wyoming, notes on Ohio, but no Wyoming notes. So Wyoming against the spread, golly, they're 6-6, and then as an underdog this year against the spread, they're also going to be a 4-3 as the dog. They've done well, but they had a good win early in the year. How they are straight up in these games and straight. All right, so as an underdog straight up, they are going to be 2 in that category. And where are they at of games this year? So this is a very even matchup in my opinion, and I because the big time quarterback that Ohio has is actually hurt for that we all need to kind of just examine a little bit. That this is going to be a tough spot for this team. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but we move forward from there. All right. So used to be a part of the Big Four. Now was the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the And I think the Fiesta Bowl got thrown in there because they offered more money. But I would say the Cotton thing like that. But now Texas has about 9 bowl games during bowl season. They a bowl game in Frisco. You got a bowl game in Houston. You got a bowl game in Arlington. Bowl game in Fort Worth. Bowl game in El Paso. Bowls. You know what I mean? So that's Tennessee and Clemson, but this game is a battle of the shorthanded in this rivalry. I mean, it's not a rivalry, but the all-time record between the school. All right, so you have Tennessee coming in here 9-3 against the spread. They're 4-0 straight up and against the spread. Now, when it comes down to the 7-6 against the spread this year, and they're 7-6 every single one of their games this year, and that's for like the 3rd year in a row as well too. But that was a pick 'em, so they're not going to count them as a dog or a favorite. Now, over under, they actually went over in 7 out of these 13 games. 2-2 this season. So, all in all, I think Clemson absolutely does not take anything away from this team at all. It doesn't. They're still a really good team, and they can still work some things out for themselves without their star quarterback. But I think all in all, Clemson's. But, they had 3 or 4 guys behind them that can play too, so it's all good. Orange Bowl between these number 6 and the number 7 teams in the nation. We'll see how it shakes out, and we will go ahead and take our first break. Back in a second. You know what I mean? It's a cold, muggy, wet day in Cali, so the Wi-Fi's are gonna all be messed up everywhere. So with that, we're gonna take our first commercial break. When we get back, we're gonna jump into the NBA Thursday night. You guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Captain.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
and show the PrimeTime Angles live with the one and only Pop DBI CB NBA Thursday night. And so we got 5 of them for us to talk about to you as well too. So here we go. All right. So up first we got ourselves actual division. This is actually a tonight. The Cavs are looking to keep the good coming into this game. You have the Pacers who have actually got it together. Now they've kind of gotten to a groove a little bit. Once and better basketball as a full unit. So this team comes in here ready to possibly upset the Cavs tonight as well too. So this isn't like one of these games where you say, okay, the Cavs, it's cool, it's a lock. The Cavs are still figuring out how to be one of the better teams right now in the Eastern Conference. They got a great record, but they've had some slip ups here as well too. We all know because they just lost a big one the other night to the Nets. So are they all the way ready? That's the biggest question. You feel what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that are surrounding that in a sense, but I truly do think that when it comes down to it, that these guys should be able to have themselves a really, really, really good game. And I think that when I look at my notes for this game as well too, when I look at my notes for this, I'm just doing something else at the same time too, because I had to put in another note that I didn't get in. And it's crazy, man, because I sat up in here and did all that work, and it's like, damn, you still missing stuff. So, all right. So let me get into my notes about this. And Cavs coming in here 8-5 in the month of December. They lost their last game, like I said before, 125-117 to the Nets. And then now they're 6-9 on the road straight up, 19-8 as a favorite this year straight up. Then against the Central, their division, they're 5-2, 7. And then against the spread, they're 18-15 and then when it comes down to the spread as a favorite, they're 15-10 division. They're 3-1. And versus the East, when it comes to the spread, 18 times. In their 15 road games, they went under 9 times. And versus the Eastern notes for tonight. And then you have the Pacers coming into the game 6-8. Are 10-7 straight up and against the spread at home. Straight up as a dog, they're what you think. 11-14 is a good barometer. This actually is a profitable team when you now they are 1-2 straight up versus their division, the Central, and straight against the spread 20-15, against the spread as an underdog 14-11. 7-1 against the spread, and versus the Central, they're 2-1 against the spread in their 35 games this year, 36 games to be exact. And then games, and versus the East in 21 games, they went under 11 times. And this game is tough to choose who's can be um, who's going to be the actual who's going to be able to under in this spot. I think that defense is going to be at an absolute premium towards somebody. You might want to take the home team in this one tonight. I just don't know why, but the home. When I see a lot of home dogs, that always tells me that it's going to be at night. And which is a good one. It's going to be the Thunder have already. These two teams are obviously, you got a Thunder team on the road this year. Last game 130 to 114 versus Spurs. They're well rested from that game. So this team is moving and grooving. As I said just prior, they're profitable team. Now 6 and 7 straight up versus the Eastern Conference. Down to the spread, they're tied for first with, and they're also 10 and 6 against the spread on the road. Now, as an underdog, they got flying colors across the board when it comes to the spread. And road, they've had 16 games and they're even. They're 8-8 in those situations. A long West Coast road trip. They are 3-11. Their last 2 in a row after winning 2 out of 3. So this team went right back. Favorite for this game, and this is the 8th time they've been a favorite this year. In the to playing the Western Conference, they are 5-9 straight up against them, and then 8-2. And at home against the spread, they're 5-10. Now, when it comes down to home games over under, they went under in 10 in a situation where this is a pick'em game as well too. It has a very game, and the Thunder are capable of scoring that amount of points. But the to me has the big number because they're going to hit that big number. All right. In the NBA, going at it in this spot, and I think that a lot of be all over this one. Broadcasting the game on trash, and then try to, everybody opinion matters, right? The Clippers lead the season series with the Celtics 1-0. They already played them earlier this month, and they got a good win in LA. But we all got to understand, though, the Celtics did struggle. They were at a struggling point at that time. They had lost 4 out of 5 games in that. Things have changed a little bit since that point. So the win that we talked about, I had notes for you guys for that one. The Clippers did beat Toronto the other night, 124-113, and also they have won their last 4 out of 5 games as well too. Now, when it comes down to the straight up versus the East, they're 10-4, marvelous record there, and that's why they were a really good dog the other night as well too. Even though they don't play great in the dog spot, they were the spread. They're 19-17 overall as an underdog against the spread record, 9-5. Now, when it comes to their 36 games, they went under 20 times. So it's a tale of two stories with this team. A lot of unders at home. Coming here 7-5 in the month of December. They've won their last row after losing 3 in a row. So this team has got it back together at behind the 8 ball like they like to be. So they're 14-5 straight up at home. The West, they're 10-2 straight up, and their 2 losses came on that last spread. They're 12-7 against the spread at home, 19-14 against the 35 games. They've actually went ahead and went. So that's why it sounds, because it would be, you would think it was they went under 18 times. No, they pushed twice. So they do is 17. All right. So pretty much they 17-16 too. And then in the at home, they've went over a lot. In the 19 games they played at home, they went over 13 times. So once again, this is another one I said to myself, the Clippers are in prime position to go ahead and have a really big game tonight. Even though they're going to be probably without their stars, the Clippers should be able to cover the plus 6.5, in my opinion. I think that a lot of people probably will hop on this Clippers as well too. So hopefully they don't get mushed and they just go ahead and take care of their business. And that's what we are focusing on in this spot. All right, so let's move on to our next, and that's going to be the Raptors and the Grizzlies. This game is going to be played in Canada, and you have the Grizzlies 20-13 coming into this game. Raptors 15-19. They're part of the musical chairs of what the Western Conference is right now. It's the Grizzlies, the Nuggets in 1 seed, and the Pelicans and the Grizzlies going back and forth for who's going to be the second and who's going to be the third. Now, but it's still early in the year, so there's no guarantees. All 3 of those teams could be 6, 7, 8 by the time we get done with this crazy West. So Grizzlies come into this game 8-4 in the month of December. They lost their last game 125-108 to the Suns at home. They've also dropped their last 4 out of 5 games after winning their first 7 games of the month. Now on the road, not too good. 7-10 straight up on the road. As a favorite, though, they're 19-8. And versus the Eastern Conference, they're 11-3. Against the spread, they're 15-16-2. On the road, they're 4-12-1 against the spread. And as a favorite against the spread, they're 13-12-2. And versus the East, and with the spread, they're 9-4-1. Now, when it comes down to the over and under, in their 33 games, they went under 17 times. And on the road, they wound up going under in 10 of their 17 road games. So the Grizzlies coming in here trying to bounce back, trying to get some wins before the end of this in the month of December. They did lose their last game to the Clippers as well. So this team is just really going through the motions as well. You know what I mean? They're not. And straight up as a dog, though, they're 5-10. And versus the West, they're 4. Overall, they're 18-16. And at home with the On their 34 games, they went under. They went over home in 17 games. They went over 10 times. So the Raptors come in here value heavy tonight. I think everybody's just really anticipating the Grizzlies to be really, really, good this season and really, really ready to take care of their business, when they get games like this one. But we'll see how this one goes. This one is going to be a very, very key spot, in my opinion, tonight for games. A lot of people will probably gravitate to this one. So you can expect a very, very, very good environment here for this one. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and get into the Knicks and the Spurs. And the Knicks and the Spurs, this is a battle on a lockout shortened season. So we always remember that series. Wound up getting a little close there, but all were very overhyped, and they all didn't work. You know what I mean? So, as I said, 86 to 121. They're 8-5 in December. And they've lost Spurs, and they're 10-7 straight up on the road. 15-2 against the spread. Now they're 12-5. 8-6 against the spread versus the West, and then in split 17-17 on over and unders, and then they have a push as well. So the Knicks notorious for the unders. The last 3 out of 4, now they're 5-7 this month. But I do have a good idea of what's going on with the Spurs. But they haven't been really good at home lately. So they have that working against them. The reason why I don't need to really go too crazy about talking about this game, the type of game that you do bounce back in. I don't really see the Knicks having any issue with their business pretty early. I like the Knicks right now with the 5. This is a good game for a team that's on a losing streak right now to bounce back. There it is. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. So you guys stay tuned. And this is the Premier Sports Betting Show. And I'll be right back at you with as I said before.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We got Talkin Tickets, and Talkin Tickets is a good day for Talkin Tickets. All right, Cheez-It Bowl. I already tweeted it out and everything, but if you're just now getting into the show, I know it's late. The game kicked off 30 minutes ago, but just in case you guys want to live bet it, if we cash that first ticket in that game, because it looks like we have this because Oklahoma did go ahead and they're up 7-3 right now, but hopefully we can go ahead and have Florida State have a, but it looks like it's going to be a good game going on down there as well too. So cashed one as well too. I had to take Oklahoma in the first quarter because I know Texas money line, Texas King of the Hill. Texas first half as well too, -1.5. We have the under 14 total as well too. We move forward. Let's go ahead and get into the Duke Mayo. Duke's Mayo Bowl is going to be a good one. This one half first half, and then we have Maryland over 23.5. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. To the Sun Bowl bets, Sun Bowl. Come on. Or a lot. And then we also have the half a point for the first. Steps it up late in that game, and they figure out a way not to give up a whole bunch of points here. We move forward to the Gator Bowl. Gator -160. Notre Dame -1.5 first half. The under half team total in this spot. I already explained to you was Irish victory, even though they are terrible in bowl games. I think they stepped this first bowl win in. All right, Wyoming, we got them with the +120 money line. The half a point with Ohio first quarter, and then fun with it. Let's say it's tied, and then Wyoming wins a close one. And a half. It's going to be a close game, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it checks out. Settled a bunch of national championships. It used to be damn near championship every It was always the team that was either number one or -6 to Clemson. Clemson money line first half -165. 4.5 team total. So we move forward and let's go ahead and jump into $13.5 on Binghamton. Then we have Eastern Tennessee State, and that's their money line plus 215. We also have Northeastern at -6, and then one of my plus 110 tonight. Hopefully they can get us some money as well too. And we Northridge to be exact. That's a school right out in San Fernando Valley, about 30 minutes away. You know what I mean? You go to Northridge, you better know how to party. So we got them with the +5. It's an 80. Up and down the court. All right. 25.5 with the Cavs and the Pacers. We have the over 238. The Raptors plus money line plus 130. And then we have the Knicks. Have our Thursday night football bets. I didn't go too crazy with the Thursday night. Money line plus 230 first quarter. It's that simple. It's that simple. And this is another irrelevant Thursday night football game. Hopefully better matches, but I think that we really need to do away with Thursday football, even though I with that maybe they just might need to give Amazon like a Sunday game. Thursday games are starting to really wear these in. You feel me? So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's our show for more bowls, more basketball, more on in that world as well. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show. And not with your heart. The movement is moving. This is the PrimeTime Angles. It's been a crazy year. It's been a sad year. It's been a learning year. And we are gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.